Okay, this is Tuesday the 17th. We're going to look at a new assignment that I posted. And we've got the next step of our quarter. At the end of the quarter, you're going to have a story. It's going to have gone through all these steps so that we know it's got all the stuff, and then organize the stuff in the right way and make it look nice. You're going to start with an outline. Okay, and this could be an idea you've talked about before in a previous assignment, or maybe one you had months ago and you plan to bring in here. Or it could be one that you make up on the fly. It's okay as long as we get all the stuff we need. And this is broken up into beginning, middle, end, which kind of fits the ideas I mentioned early on, where you got your character wants something, but they have a problem, and then they change. Of course, these blend into each other. So in the beginning, you can do anything you want. You can spend time describing the land or the clothing or the family history or the character's thoughts or a bunch of jokes, but that depends on your style and the mood and everything else. However, you got to do this stuff. You got to tell us your main character and what they want. And maybe they have some supporting characters like an adversary or a helper or a romantic interest or something like that. And then you got to tell us what's the first thing your character tries to achieve that goal. It doesn't work, something goes wrong, and then they have to try more, and the opposition escalates until things get heightened and bigger, and there's some kind of tension. It doesn't have to be a fight. It could be a conversation. It could be a chase. It could be a sporting event. It could be social, one group of people tries to move in this direction, another person tries to convince them over here. It can be all kinds of things. But at the end, there's some kind of climax where things can't escalate anymore. Somebody wins the fight, or somebody gives up, or something happens to change the situation. And the important thing is you're going to have an idea in mind of how does the character change. It's really important to keep this sort of at the top of your mind throughout the whole story. For example, if you decide your character is going to change to be more or less, by the way, it doesn't have to be good. They could get worse. That's totally fine. But you can then make them the opposite of that at the beginning. So if you have a character who's going to sort of lose their mind and become angry or jealous or violent, then you start out by making them calm and buttoned up and extra pushed to the other side, so we have a big change. That's how the use of force went. Your doctor was very educated and proper at the beginning, and then by the end he was crazy. If you have somebody who's going in the opposite direction, you can make them start really wild, and then they become really calm, and that will give us a nice change. If they start out in the middle, then there's not as far to go. And then this part at the end is optional, but maybe you have the world change or other characters change and things like that. So today you can write in bullet points. It doesn't have to be paragraphs or anything like that. You could just copy this and then fill in each one, or you could do some other version that works for you. But here are a couple questions that I've got in like private comments and stuff. One says, what does it have to be about? The answer is anything. You could do a story about something related to real life. It could be a high school student who is going to school in 2021 and encounters realistic problems. Or it could be about anything in the world. It could be about, a king riding on a dragon, or an ant in the grass, or whatever you like. Somebody said, can I do like a fan fiction thing? Can I write about existing characters? And no, we don't want to do that. You want your thing to be original. You don't want to use names or universe from elsewhere. You don't want to say, I'm going to write about, Ron and Hermione or something like that. But, of course, you can always take inspiration, If you write a story about, like, a young person with magic powers, and maybe it has a couple things in common with other stories about young people with magic powers, that's okay, but we're not, infringing on anybody's copyright here. So that's the time. Take a few days. I'm going to grade the previous assignments. I have a couple slots that could be filled in the gradebook. And you can really think about each one of these. And honestly, if you do the end part, you might go back and change a little bit about the beginning. Like I said, if they change a certain way, you might want to make them the opposite in the beginning. Or if you realize, oh, I want a character to be there for a certain purpose, then you can sort of put them there at the beginning. And it helps to take another round at it. So I'll end this video now because I like it to be short. But if you have questions, let me know.